Before we jump into today's video, have another new channel member to thank here on YouTube. It is Johnny Strasser with a Tier 1 membership. Johnny, really do appreciate all of your continued support with your super chats in the comment section. Really do appreciate that. And I appreciate this Tier 1 membership as well. And thank you to the rest of the names on the board. Now let's jump into today's video. Welcome back. So trying to catch up on storylines that have taken place over the last couple of days while I was gone and not at home. And today we now land on the announcement that took place on Monday afternoon, where Stenhouse Jr. Marshall Racing announced that Spencer Bayston will replace Sheldon Haudenschild at the end of the World of Outlaws season in that NOS Energy Drink number 17 car. Of course, we know Sheldon is moving on to other things. Those things still haven't been announced yet. Everybody knows where he's going. More than likely the KCP Racing 8 team. That has not been made official yet. But Bayston, he is the guy that they have chosen to get in this car. Spencer Bayston, 27-year-old driver at 11 in Indiana, and they will be running the World of Outlaws Tour next year full-time, which is no surprise. A lot of people were like, well, maybe the 17 will go high limit. No, that's never going to happen, as the 17 is the flagship NOS Energy Drink car for the Outlaws. And so this is really no surprise to see them stay with that series. Now, one thing that I have written down here that I think is very important when we look at, the last year really of Spencer Bayston, and a lot of people, they're not too sold on him being a guy that can get in this car and run well. One thing that I feel like kind of goes unnoticed is, this year with Jason Myers Racing, they ran a KPC chassis, which is, as far as I know, is the only team that runs a national tour that has a KPC chassis. And with the 17 car, they run J&Js right now. And I don't know if I don't think they're going to change chassis for Spencer Bayston, but that is a chassis that is more used by a lot of guys that run full-time. Maxims are big, Triple X's are big, J&Js are big when it comes to the national tours. KPCs really are not. And so I think that switching back to a chassis that maybe closer resembles, say, a Maxim, which is what Bayston ran when he ran very well with CJB Motorsports his first year out there on the Outlaw Tour. I think that could definitely play a factor in him, getting more comfortable in this car a lot quicker than maybe he did in the JMR 14 with a chassis that really is not used a ton outside of the state of California. That is no knock on KPC. Obviously, they've had some good, guys run those cars. Shane Golovic ran it and had success. Justin Sanders has ran and had success. But it's just not a car that we see normally on the national tour. So Bayston, we know that his stock was very low after the Knoxville Nationals, but I made a video about it on the channel. But it rose in California behind the wheel of the W car, the Kevin Kozlowski machine, crew chief by Paul Silva. He ran very, very well in that car, and once again, ran very well in the Tarleton 21. The W, as far as I know, Schnee Lawson chassis, and the 21 is a Maxim chassis. And so those are cars that, we see a lot more often when it comes to the national side of things, and maybe that helped Bayston get a little bit more comfortable in those two machines. Some of the runs that he had, these are not all of them, but he ran second at the Dennis Roth Classic by 2/1000ths or 200ths of a second to David Gravel, almost won an $83,000 race there. He was second this last week at the Trophy Cup. He led laps in that feature. He was second at Tulare with Highland Racing, and he was seventh at the Gold Cup Race of Champions. Had a top 5 at Placerville, had another top 5 with the Outlaws at, was it Paris, I believe, had a top 5 there as well. So he was tearing it up on the West Coast. No wins, but was, showing that he can contend for wins almost every single night. When the Outlaws came to town, when High Limit came to town in the 360 Trophy Cup, almost won a 360 race at Silver Dollar Speedway, was second in that one as well. And so the stock was shooting up. It was, it was green candles all the way up for Spencer Bayston out there in California towards the end of the year. And I mean, arguably, this could be, if not the best, one of the best opportunities that Spencer Bayston has had in his career. This car has 45, 50 Outlaw wins over the last 8 years with Sheldon Haudenschild. They've ran for a long time. Joey Saldana ran the car. Jack Haudenschild ran the car. Kyle Larson's won a race in this car before. And so this is a major opportunity for Spencer Bayston. And it's kind of crazy to think that, after all the hate that he's been getting over the last year or so, that this is the car that he lands in, a very, very potent ride. It just won the National Open a few weeks back, and now Spencer Bayston is going to have an opportunity to prove himself on the national side of things once again, which I have been, saying that he did not forget how to drive a sprint car. just things did not work out well in the Jason Myers Racing number 14 machine. Now, we do know the car will be crew chief by Kyle Pruitt. He is the crew chief right now with Sheldon. They just got a win in Angel Park this week with the Outlaws. Had a couple of other good runs here in the last couple of weeks. But who will be the crew members on the car for next year? We do not know that question yet. Right now, it's Nate Repitz and Cole Newhalfen. Repitz, as you probably know, he was one of the main guys at Jason Johnson Racing with Carson Macedo. And then this year they won the Kings Royal with Anthony Macri behind the wheel. And for Cole Newhalfen, he has also worked for JJR before. And he was one of those guys that was kind of caught up in the crossfire when everything went sideways with Brad Sweet's team this year in KKR, and he is now he is now one of the guys on the 17 machine. But will they be there for next year? I'm not sure. I think that would be a pretty good trio of workers on the car. I would be very surprised if Nate Repitz is on the car next year. After talking with him, a long discussion in Lernerville this year, I don't know if Repitz is going to be going on the road again. I would be pretty surprised if that was the case. But if he does, that's a really good guy to have on your team. Obviously, like I said, he's won the National Open, he's won the Kings Royal with a couple different drivers as a crew member, and so he's got a lot of experience. And then I wanted to look at this as well. So this year with High Limit, before Spencer Bayston was let go from the JMR 14, he ran 25 races in that car. Obviously had no wins. He only had one top 5. He had 7 top 10s. His average finish was 14.8, average qualifying of 14.6, and his average feature start was 13.7, and he had a plus-minus of -26 in the feature events. So one of probably the worst statistical year of Spencer Bayston's career, and that's 25 races in the 14. What's crazy is that when he got in the W car, he had 3 straight top 5s or 3 straight top 10s. He didn't have 3 straight top 10s the entire season with the 14 machine, and he had 2 top 5s in the W. He only had 1 in the 14. So it just showed immediately that he got into a car he felt a lot more, comfortable in. And so that was, I think people need to realize that, and like I said in a video before, they had Darren Pittman in the car. They had Trey Starks in the car, Sanders in the car. All of them looked relatively pedestrian in that car, except for Sanders had a couple of decent runs. He had a top 10 at Lernerville, I think a top 10 at Lakeside, and then his best run was 4th this last weekend at Texas Motor Speedway, which is the exact same best finish for Bayston with High Limit this year. He had a 4th place run at Lakeside. And so none of those guys really lit the world on fire in the 14 car besides Corey Day, of course, which he is very, very good in that machine. Now, the stat line here is 2022, Spencer Bayston's Rookie of the Year campaign with the World of Outlaws in the CJB Motorsports car. If he can get back to even close to these numbers, I think that they're going to be very, very happy to make that higher. He had 2 wins that year in his rookie season. He had 16 top 5s, 39 top 10s, and this is in 67 races, a 10.6 average finish, a 7.3 qualifying average, and an average feature start of 9.4. Compare that to this last year. That's a 4-position difference in average finish, half the average qualifying, and another almost 4 positions right there in average start. So clearly, that year with CJB, his rookie season, he was very, very good. The one bad thing on there was his plus-minus at -72. That's not good. But the rest of those numbers, very, very good for Spencer Bayston. If he can get back to those numbers and maybe even better, obviously he's a lot more experienced compared to where he was at, 3 or 4 years ago in the CJB car, then I think that this could be a good year for Spencer Bayston. And we know that the car is good. We know that the crew chief obviously has already gotten a win. And so, Kyle Pruitt, he ran with Schuhart this year, got 2 wins with them as well. And so this could be an underrated pairing going into next year. We do know that NOS Energy Drink will also stay on the 17 this upcoming season. And Bayston, to me, fits the NOS Energy Drink mold. You look at the guys that they sponsor right now in sprint car racing, and I feel like Spencer Bayston fits right into that. And I think that's going to be a good, I think Lauren Albano at NOS Energy Drink is going to really love having Spencer Bayston as one of their drivers going into next year. And I did have this over here off to the side as well. Last year's results with High Limit in the CJB car for Bayston in comparison to this line here, he had 11 top 5s, only 1 in the 14. He had 25 top 10s, only 7 in the 14. His average finish last year was a 10.7 compared to 14.8, and his average start was 11.3, as compared to 13.7. So just 1 year ago, you could tell that there was a lot better numbers compared to this year. So I just got to reiterate, the 14 just did not work out for him, and it proves that just 1 year ago, the numbers were way better for Bayston. The first race for this pairing will be at the World Finals, so we will not have to wait very long to see Bayston behind the wheel again, and the first time in the 17 car. 4 nights of action on November 5th, 6th, 7th, and 8th. And it's going to be a 2-car team. We know that Sheldon will finish out his season and finish out his tenure with that car on the same weekend, and they will have 2 NOS Energy Drink 17 cars racing at the Charlotte Motor Speedway dirt track on November 5th through the 8th, and that will be the first time we get to see Bayston behind the wheel, and hopefully it goes good for him, man. I am cheering on Bayston. I wish he was a high limit guy, obviously, because he's a good friend of mine, and I think he's good for the sport. But the Outlaws and SJMR have a good guy here that is going to give them an honest effort every single night. And I think he has a lot to prove next year, and I think that's going to make him want to drive even harder to prove all of the doubters wrong. So let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. What do you think about Spencer Bayston to Stenhouse Junior Marshall Racing? And let me know your thoughts on these numbers. Let me know your thoughts on the chassis talk as well. Would love to hear all of that and more down in that comment section. Make sure to like, hit subscribe, and we'll talk to you guys again here soon.